Nancy Pelosi is officially now no longer the speaker, and that doesn't mean that she's out of politics. Here she is. You can see new article being written up by Maureen Dowd. Nancy Pelosi, liberated and loving it. We can bring that up. I just want to briefly say there is maybe nothing in media that I despise more than these types of write-ups, which have the feel, and again, nothing specifically against Nancy Pelosi, except for all of the things specifically against Nancy Pelosi. If it looks like you just let them write the title, don't do that. Nancy Pelosi, liberated and loving, or like what's like Bill Hader's done letting Hollywood control him. Like, and that is not even real. And I like Bill Hader. I just don't like it when they're like, you just choose the narrative as a treat. You make the narrative whatever you want. Now that's Maureen Dowd's thing. But anyway, liberated and loving it. She doesn't even want to be speaker anymore. In fact, she's off screen laughing right now. Okay, let's just stop being fake. That said, in this article, which is mostly nonsense, there are some interesting excerpts, okay? And so one involves not necessarily the future of Nancy Pelosi, but the future of Joe Biden. So now that Nancy Pelosi, Maureen Dowd writes, has made way for fresh leadership, does she, and just in time for the leadership to not be in charge, a weird thing to leave out. Does she think President Biden should do the same? He would be 86 by the time he finishes another term. She said that Biden has done a great job and will make his own decision on whether to run again. She said he will have to weigh the pros and cons. Is age a positive thing for him? No. But she said that age is a relative thing. On the plus side, she said, I think Jill is ready to go for him to run. I get that's nice. I don't know how much that matters, but sure, fine. She did say he's done so many things that are great. He's put money in people's pockets, vaccines in their arms, children back to school, people back to work for starters, blah, 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 whatever. It is interesting though that she was at least willing to grant that one of the big complaints about him is that he was already quite advanced in age the first time he ran, and now it's gonna be even later. It's a thing that bothers people, and even Nancy Pelosi is willing to admit it. She's got more that might hint at a different challenger, but Waz, what do you make of this so far?
I think, she can say this because she herself, old as she is finally retiring. And so she has a leg to stand on here as somebody who held on far too damn long to be like, look, I did it. I held on for a long time. I can say, Joe Biden, let it go. You'll be 80 freaking 6 years old. Let's just try something else. So, I understand, and it's one of the most powerful people in the party for the last, damn near 20 years. And so, she has something to say about it. I think it's important, and I think it's meaningful, honestly. I think it means something that she's saying something like this, and that the party apparatus is getting ready to move on to somebody else for 2024. But at least it's coming from somebody who is finally, for the love of God, thank him, is gone.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, she's willing to say that again. Maureen Dowd could have asked critical follow-ups. Like, for instance, okay, so you talked about you stepping aside or him stepping aside for the next generation. It would be nice if we could just for a second talk about the next generation in anything other than the most shallow way. Yes, I understand Hakeem Jeffries is technically younger. Is he reflective of younger generations of Democratic voters? Or is he you but younger? Is he you but he was born later? Is he reflective of the future of the Democratic Party? Not the future of the Democratic Party that you desperately want to exist, but the actual electorate for the Democratic Party. So, and again,
come on, John, Hawk Jeffries, of course he's the next generation. He raps in the Congress.
Does he?
He kicks a rhyme. He'll kick a rhyme every now and again up there in the chambers. He's new age. He's cutting edge. Yeah. Come on now. Everybody knows the black guy rapping is just the newest thing that's ever hit DC. We've never seen a black guy rap before. That's crazy.
I never have.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and again, like saying that she stepped aside for no. Stepped aside is if you did it when the Democrats were taking over and it really matters. I mean, sure, she could have held on as minority leader, but it is not this beneficent gesture that on your way out of power, you're like, okay, I guess you could take over now. Like that is, again, don't try to pitch that as this amazing thing. You could recognize that she is a historic figure for a lot of different reasons, but not because she was so charitable in when she chose to step down. In any event, she was asked this, does Pelosi think Biden is the only one who could beat Trump in 2024? No, she replied. I think we have other great candidates when the time comes. So again, yeah, I mean, God only knows who she's talking about there. She's certainly not talking about this as if it's an inevitability that it will be Joe Biden at that point. And she was asked, by the way, about the document scandal, bearing in mind that this is before the third set of documents were found and then Mike Pence's were found. I said, Maureen Dowd, that some Democrats are rethinking a Biden re-election run because they're upset over the slippery, inept way the White House has handled the discovery of classified documents from Biden's day as VP, blah, blah, blah. They worry that it neutralizes Democrats' ability to go after Trump on the issue, especially after the president cavalierly said on Thursday that he has no regrets about it. She said that her long years on the House Intelligence Committee taught her that there's a big difference between the sort of obstruction on documents that Trump engaged in and the way Biden openly put forward the documents. Which, by the way, I don't even disagree on the substance, but she understands that it's going to be spun in a different way. Anyway, she says it's important to know what is the nature of the documents. Maybe there's one word in there that shouldn't be. Or she said, is it in the strictest classified category? And that's where she loses me. That's the defense that right wingers are putting forward for Trump. Like, yeah, but how classified? What's in them? It doesn't matter. It's against the law. You don't get, it's not like there's a word count you have to pass, a threshold. It's illegal. You guys spent months attacking him for it. You can't then fall back on the same defenses that him and his cronies were using. It's just not going to convince people, Waz.
It's funny because I this might shock the listeners. I didn't read this Maureen Dowd interview of Nancy Pelosi, but yeah, like this gets at the central problem of this classification process and situation. Everybody can hide behind what she just said. Donald Trump can hide behind it because it's against the law to reveal what's actually in the documents. So he can always make that argument. So who are we supposed to trust on this? We're supposed to trust the Democrats on this? The people who are trying to gain our votes so they can gain power to give all the money and resources to their corporate freaking sugar daddies? Like, who are we even supposed to trust on this issue? We're just supposed to believe Nancy when she says, no, when the Dems do it, it's like the classified ice cream recipe that they use in the White House. Biden just wanted to be able to have the secret pasta sauce at his house when he left office. It wasn't nothing crazy. When Trump did it, it was the stuff having to do with places like China and Russia. It's absurd.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, you bring up the recipes. Like you don't think that Trump was looking up like the secret KFC spice mix? Or like, Coke, those are secrets. Like how that dude loves Diet Coke. He was definitely looking up the recipe. He's not gonna make it. I don't think he can make easy mac and cheese. But I think that that's the sort of thing that he would look up. He wasn't doing the cool stuff like looking up Roswell and Area 51. Right. He was looking up fast food restaurant recipes. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.